So for indoor soccer, there's different like in and out of bounds rules. For us, what's considered out of bounds will be any of the soft surfaces. So this curtain and those nets are out of bounds. If the ball touches above the first teal line over there, that is also out of bounds. But if it's in the air above the second teal line, that is also out of bounds. So on that like for when it's on that wall, it's better for the official on this side to notice that. There's been a lot of times where people will say, it's out, but the person over here can't really look up and be a good judgment for what happened. So if you are on this side, keep a lookout for the ball going above the second teal line or touching above the first.
Above, if you did it on the line, it's on. It's good.
For what? I didn't hear you.
On the line, no above.
If it hits the teal line or above, it is out of bounds. So
no, above the teal line, because you have a teal line right here. So
oh, that, yeah.
Teal line is it. Yellow or above.
All right, well, there you go.
Yeah.
What else did I have to say? Okay, so for substitutions, it's not like basketball where you have to stop the game to sub, right? Yeah, they just come in and out as they please. With that, though, just make sure that there are the correct number of people that are supposed to be on the court. Just make sure that there's not like 6 people or 7 people on the court for one team.
How's subbing supposed to happen?
On the fly.
On the fly, what does that mean?
Just whatever they want to do during the play.
Who's got to go on? Who's got to go off first? We talked about it yesterday. It's on the test.
Players need to go off.
The player has to leave the court first, then a player comes on, because that's the way you don't have too many players. So it's easier to have 4 players on the floor than 5. Or 6 versus 5. So that's why they have to go out first and then come in.
Yep, that's that. There's been times that people have just tried to sneak by when you're not, like, if something's going on over there, they just sneak in, but just something to keep an eye out for. So freezing the ball is when the ball is against the wall with a player.
Show them.
Okay. Woo. All right, we're going over here. All right, so when the ball is like against the wall, they're allowed to have a feeling hand is what we call it against the wall. They cannot like hold 2 hands against the wall to try and do something with the ball. They are allowed, like if they're both going for it, it's kind of you use discretion here. Like if they're both competitively trying to get the ball out, give them a second to work through it. But if they're just delaying the game, if there's like, they're winning by a lot, they want to slow the clock down and they're just holding it here, not let anyone get it, that's when you can blow your whistle and give it to the other team. That's freezing the ball. Any questions on that? It's no? Cool, okay. What? So like we're on opposite teams and we both have the ball. I mean, for me, whenever I've called that, it's been with like just describe, I don't know, it's like whoever has it first or whoever froze the ball first, I guess.
They're trying to get the ball out. So if the ball's still moving, it's not frozen. Yeah. What we're eliminating here is if Dylan's on defense, he's back here, and I'm going to hold the ball right here, he can't kick it out. This is what we're trying to eliminate. Or the other part is if he's back here on defense and I'm boxing him out this way, this is called obstruction. I can't do this to create space. That's obstruction. So what you'll see a lot of times, you're going to try to put your hand here and feel and keep the ball away from it. But if it's not frozen, per se, like this, where I basically put a lot of pressure on this ball, and it's not going to move. So he's going to try to kick away, and it's not going to happen. But if it's still moving, the ball's not frozen.
Any more questions on freezing? Okay, we also have to go over checking. So that's really just when another player just like slams into someone against the boards. With that, you should call that, depending on how malicious it is when you can give a card or a yellow card for that. I've never seen someone like, well, as I've worked, I've seen people get hit into the boards, but not where it was like really like mean, I guess.
Remember the play we saw yesterday? That's an ejection. But if he and I are running down the floor and I'm trying to fight for position, we happen to bump, we may have a foul, but we're not going to have malicious contact. And probably not going to have a card. So we got to stay away from that.
Yeah, checking is, there's been some, I've seen videos of some violent checking. When that happens, that's when you stop it, call it, give a card if it's needed, eject them if it's needed, like Andy said. But other than that, that's it. Any questions on that?
As you can tell, you now can see the facility if you haven't been here before. That glass is not going to break. That glass is not going to break. The walls aren't going to move, so if somebody gets put into the wall, it's going to hurt them, and we need to have a whistle on it. What I don't want is when we video and somebody gets put into the wall and we don't do anything. That means we're failing at our job. So just now that you can see that, you can make sure you call that. If you see anybody hanging on that net, we don't want that because they're only zip tied up. So if they're hanging like that, what's going to happen is the zip ties are going to pop off, and guess what? We now have a hole in our net. And we can't use the facility until we get it fixed. And it's usually the next day because we don't get it fixed right away. Or they're going to pull the eye hooks off the ceiling. We don't want that. So try to tell them to keep off of it. It's tough because they want to watch play, but they're stuck behind a pole and other glass. That's tough. So we need to make sure that they're not doing that. Be nice about it. Don't be like, hey, get off the net. You sound like a-hole. Hey, please get your hands off the net for me. Hey, we don't have to replace the net tonight. Things like that will go a long way. When we talked about the quiet word yesterday, that's the quiet word. Nobody knows has to know but me and him. So, good. This is your last station before we go upstairs.